세러데이 쇼다운, KT 롤스터 대 DN 슈퍼스.
I'm hoping for something interesting, something new. But it's Gen.G, so they're not likely to do it. And I don't know whether the bros really want to cook in this series. We'll just have to see. The Varus will need to be banned, though, as per usual.
Yeah, that is kind of the standard. I wonder how much bans will change.
Well, the Varus is still banned.
Yeah, and this time it's Hanjin choosing second pick. They were first pick last game, so that might shake things up a little bit.
Oh, it helps us as well, because now we know who's, like, first pick is blue side again. And so we're back to last year. And that
second pick red side? Wow.
I know. It's so strange. Lee Sin going to be banned here by Gen.G.
Yeah, no one wanting to give Gideon that pick. He's had pretty good success on it so far. But there were a lot of strong picks banned away in the last draft. Cassiopeia going to be taken away makes complete sense. There's still Karma.
Yep.
There's still the Bard. Yep, definitely. Something that we could see Gen.G look to prioritize. They have first pick Bard before.
Yeah, it could actually be an option. Or they could ban it here and then give themselves like a Karma angle if they would like it.
There's so many pairings with the Bard that are still available. Xayah and Lucian, not really picks you play with the Bard, and those are the bans that AD carries taken away in game one.
Yes.
Ezreal will be denied here. This does put some extra emphasis on the Jarvan, I would say, with Lucian gone and Ezreal gone.
Yeah.
It's going to be trickier to stay safe in a game as an AD carry.
And it makes this ban really awkward as well, right? Because you want to ban the Karma, but you also would really like to ban the Jarvan. And then if you ban the Jarvan, then they get the Karma. So instead, it is just going to be the Jarvan potential lock-in here for Canyon. It's been a favorite of his. Even when Jarvan wasn't necessarily meta, he was very happy to play it.
Will they take it or will they take Bard? Because Bard can do pretty good at like neutralizing the Jarvan engage, and Gen.G have put a lot of pride on that pick, so I think a lot of teams would go Jarvan here, but I wouldn't be that surprised if Gen.G opted in a bit of a different direction.
Well, it will be the hover for the moment. I do like the idea though, because yeah, Bard does have a pretty good time dealing with it. Still, just going to lock in the J4. And what does Bro do about it? I imagine they're going to need to lock in a Bard lane of some kind.
Yeah,
that's what we're going to need to see.
They have a lot of options in terms of AD carry, so even if they secure the Bard now, they don't have to take the AD carry here, because there's Jhin, there's Caitlyn, which are both solid options with it.
Can't really play Sivir.
They are going to look towards the Pantheon here and secure that for Gideon.
All right.
And I feel like the Pantheon Bard has been a pretty strong combo because of the roaming pressure. The Bard roams around and knows the Pantheon can always back it up, so could go towards this, or could instead just look to prioritize something for the solo lanes if they want to get a jump on that.
Misfortune, okay.
We've seen the Misfortune do well in the hands of some of our players, like Gumishi's had a fantastic game on it, but interesting to see so much priority on this pick. Obviously a strong lane, and instead they do go for the Caitlyn, but I mean the problem with this, in my mind, is that Caitlyn is a solid pick, but I feel like Gen.G could just go the Jhin Bard in return, which we know they very much like to do. Could also go Ashe Seraphine, and Ashe Seraphine with Jarvan is very potent. I feel like one of the stronger combinations. There's a lot of options for Gen.G in this situation.
There really are. I don't know whether I'd like the Ashe Seraphine just because we've been watching it lose all week, and that's a little bit of a rough one. As, yeah, I don't know whether there's very much stopping you from just, locking in Ziggs Pike. Okay, that could be a thing.
Ruler not the person who plays the most mages in the bot lane.
No.
But willing to bring out the Ziggs in this situation. Comboing with the Jarvan, very potent.
Circles.
And what will you take support? Could go towards a melee engager to set it up like the Nautilus.
Oh, it's got to be Pike. It's so much more fun. Dura is allowed to play fun champs, right? Oh, never mind. It's the Nautilus. Wow.
So this is a little scary if you're going to pick Bard into it. We've talked many times about the rotund hitbox.
Yeah.
But also, the other side to it is if you have the Tempered Fate, you can block a lot of this burst if you time it right. It's a pretty hard task to pull off, but it is possible.
See whether they do lock it in.
They go for it. If they do, they also have this nice position where neither team have picked their solo laners, and they are second pick, but instead opting to go for the Aurora. So now they can go Aurora, and they can ban away mid lanes that would match up well into it, and try and give what we assume is Roma a good matchup. Obviously, we can see the Aurora flex atop, but it probably is going to be their mid lane pick.
Yeah.
And then you have counter pick for casting.
Isn't it kind of crazy, though, to not lock in Namgung's support here? Like, now they don't get the Bard, which you mentioned is pretty good into the Jarvan already. You mentioned Tempered Fate value into the Mega Inferno Bomb. Like, there are certain things that would have really gone well with a Bard lock in there, and you keep everything ambiguous as to the rest of the map.
Maybe the thought process is they have a lot of things they can pair with a Caitlyn, because you have your Bard, you have your Lux. The Anivia would honestly be kind of fire here into this composition. Anivia very frustrating for a Nautilus to play into. I know it's not seen as much play recently, but there could be an angle.
Oh, true. That's a fun one, actually.
So are Gen.G going to hammer away bans at the support role? I think the Bard would make sense, but instead they're looking towards the top lane with the Vayne being taken away.
All right. So no Vayne might mean that Keen is thinking about a Gnar angle, which we have seen in Ziggs compositions sort of being sort of a hybrid 80 carry type vibe. You know, at least doing a fair bit of physical DPS. And they could just ban it away if they wanted to. And there it is.
Yeah. Don't want to deal with that as a blind, especially when they're banning away a pick that does pretty well into it. And now for Gen.G, will they go for a support ban in this situation? Will they try and set up Keen for success?
I'm not sure. I'm wondering what they think casting is going to play. Maybe a Renekton could be an option here. Maybe that's what Keen wants to play.
I mean, a lot of these picks that have been banned away, the TF, the Vayne, and the Gnar, are a bit of a pain for the Renekton. And they will just ban that instead. But I feel like Hanjin Brion, I guess maybe Gen.G wanted to play into the Bard, and this composition was designed to punish it, but it does feel weird to see it just get through to this point like this.
Yeah, I'd feel like it'd be like, it feels a bit fishy, you know? It's like, maybe we shouldn't pick Bard, because it feels like it's exactly what we should do, except obviously the enemy knows that.
I feel like we've said Bard so much this draft. The word is starting to lose meaning a little bit.
We can switch over to Brad if you like.
I do like Brad.
Brad's a bit better.
And they just, instead of using the counter pick, they just blind the Scion for casting.
Oh, because Namgung wants to play Elise. I don't know why he needs to pick it last if he wants to play Elise, but I think maybe he just wants to play Elise.
He does like to play Elise.
So maybe he'll do that. Ambessa for Keen.
Yeah, this feels... I'm not a huge fan of the blind Scion when you know Keen can just take Ambessa, and we've seen this lane, if the Ambessa's piloting it well, just be very painful for the Scion, so...
What's Chovy going to play? That is our question. Into the Aurora, we have actually seen Annie do okay, even though Aurora has been picked into it many, many times. The Annie does often win. That's a Syndra, though, and that would be a lot of fun. Azir is a lot of auto-attacking, and that would certainly help them with their just consistent DPS, but instead it's going to be the Mel, and she will be the decision into this. You can block some spears. Ace in the hole you can never use if the Mel is around, so that's kind of cute. Now I'm going, what are we playing?
And just a lot of follow-up on the setup from Gen.G. You can kind of just throw everything into the Cataclysm and explode them.
Okay. Morgana, a little bit of the darker variety. And Tahm Kench will be the choice.
We obviously saw that game from Keria on Tahm Kench where they got a lot of early pressure on the back of his base damages and his tongue. But this feels not... I talked about there being a lot of Caitlyn pairings. Feels weird to go for this. I guess they are concerned about the kill pressure onto any squishy supports. You're just not going to have that much pressure in the 2v2. And then sure, you can gobble up Caitlyn if she gets caught out and save her, but they will just kill you instead, it feels like, in most situations.
Yeah, I feel like if you do gobble up the Caitlyn, then who's doing damage? I guess it's Roamer on the Aurora, but don't they just turn around and kill her, and then it gets really difficult. This is kind of wacky. I guess you can, like, if they do decide to throw the kitchen sink at you, gobble up the Caitlyn and then avoid the damage that way. Obviously, the Tahm Kench is likely to die, but at least you'll still have your 80 carry. That might be what they're looking for. But I don't know whether as, like, the R5 counter pick support ace in the hole option that they had up their sleeve, I just, I feel like they pulled out a brown banana and was like, hee, this is what we had up our sleeve. And you're like, not all that enthralled by it.
If they'd picked Soraka, at least they could have thrown the banana.
Exactly. You know what I'm saying? And banana would be very shiny and all that sort of stuff. It is time, though, for us to get onto the Rift. Let's see how the bros manage to deal with it. All right, here we are, ladies and gentlemen, onto the Rift for game number 2. And there is a 6-gamer on the line. We have to remember, you know, Friends has got a bit of extra value out of their 6 gamers. And Ruler is also taking a lot of damage. Avoiding that Peacemaker, very, very important, as Duro will make his way over. The Tongue Lash comes in, and I had a question for you, Orcs.
Yeah.
What happens when a Mel rebuts a Tongue Lash? Does the Mel then lick the Tahm Kench?
I think so.
I really want to see it.
I assume we'll see it this game.
That's all I want to see this game. That's the only, I don't care about the outcome, nothing. I just want to make sure that Chovy does do one rebuttal on a Tongue Lash.
I can see it happening. Stop the slow.
Or the possible stun. You know, what if he stacked up the thingy?
Yeah.
All right, some nice side steps here from Chovy in lane, though, so far. Things going pretty well there. As Ruler and Duro, they are doing their very best just to navigate the lane in a we don't want to interact type of way. So far, it's working out okay. Oh, Chovy's leveled it. Haha. We might still see it. I know that Namgung also has Tongue Lash.
It's crazy
so Chovy, just go to the bottom lane now.
Crazy how long the cooldown is. And there's some abilities, I feel like they were so game warping that they just said, the only way to balance this is give it...
Infinity cooldown.
Yeah, like...
Devour, old Devour.
Wind Wall.
Yeah. Event Horizon.
Wind Wall cooldown is so long.
Yeah, true.
And now you see Rebuttal cast, and then it's like 30 plus seconds until you get to cast it again. It's a long window, but obviously a very powerful ability.
Let's see how Chovy's going to use it as this game goes on. Right now, Casting is stacking up that... Okay, Fiend going in. I don't know whether he really wants to here, as Casting is still feeling pretty comfortable. Gets a nice ward down, but he may die for it. This is very scary. Dashes out of the way of that Q. Gets the shield, so feels a little bit better as a result there. And now is looking to go even more aggressive. Casting's the one now on a lower health bar, and this is getting dicey.
Yeah, Keen has a biscuit in his pocket as well, so I think he just wins this if they try and make it all in. The level up's going to help Casting, but Keen won't be far behind. They can get it if he AoEs the wave.
Yeah, and he does do that. So does manage to find level 4 here. That is a lot of damage onto the Scion, who realizes, yeah, it's time for a coffee break. This Lumberjack needs to go home.
So they gave Ambessa a lot of early power in terms of damage with the buff that we saw, but also a lot of healing on the first rank of the ultimate. She got healing throughout the ranks in the ultimate, but the first one got the biggest boost. So level 6 is so scary. To play as Casting in this situation, have to be really careful. As soon as Keen hits that, he's just going to start winning trades even harder than he already was there.
Yeah. At least Casting was able to clear out waves very comfortably. You can see this wave is going to be shoved in. There's the Abyssal Dive as Namgun comes on down. Great satchel there from Ruler. Oh, I think even Orcs would be pretty proud of that one.
Yep. Did a good job. Walked forward and then satcheled over his head.
Oh, it's like an actual leapfrog.
Yeah. He leaped
pretty
over
cool.
a frog.
Haha! Don't stop saying things about catfish, okay? We know he's a catfish, but it also looks like a frog, okay?
The thing is, if you say he's a catfish and you're like militant on that being the case, then you can't have all those fun
exactly
like unbench the Kench and unclog the frog.
Unclog the frog, exactly.
Unload the toad.
Yeah. I was trying to work out what the tadpole one would be, but I couldn't work out a get me out word that works with it. Chat, let me know. It's okay. Gen.G just going to be looking for a Raptor camp. They will be able to claim this one. Clearing out vision on their way. Oh no. Skill spikes onto me in chat. I've gone to demon podcast mode. Oh, it's unroll the tadpole, of course. Thanks, Yundo. I appreciate you.
Uninhibit the ribbit.
It was Dagon, okay. Uninhibit the ribbit, I remember that one. Oh god, there's a few of them that I don't really like.
Unstick the lick.
Unimprison the amphibian is a stretch.
Yeah.
That's not a rhyme.
No.
That's not how that works.
Unmute the newt.
That one's very good.
Kermit the Kermit.
Permit the Kermit. I don't think I can do it in my accent. I think in another accent it might rhyme. But it doesn't work for me. But yeah, so he has to be a frog for all of those reasons. And there was an original point, but I've lost it. Unmute the Newt, though, is really good.
Yeah.
Uninhibit the Ribbit also feels fantastic to say.
That feels like something Parappa the Rapper would say.
Yeah. Definitely a Tahm Kench main, can guarantee that. That's all right. Chovy gets a wave shoved in. He's got a slight advantage. You can see Teddy doing just fine in this lane, though, despite the Tahm Kench situation, which you know, can mean that the Caitlyn isn't quite as strong as she could be in some of the other lanes, like the Lux, for example. As Canyon, he wants to hit level 6. He's going to move on over looking for Gideon. Flashes over the wall, though, to get himself out. And Chovy is left to the wolves. Finds a great snare to keep him alive, but he has to use his flash as well. Gideon and Roma both held theirs.
Yeah, doing pretty good there. Finding that early momentum. The level 6 of the Aurora, so impactful in those early skirmishes. And Canyon, Chovy forced away. Gideon gets I want to say Gideon gets the grubs, but no, he gets the Scuttle Crab and hits level 6.
Is this a homebrew? Parole the Tadpole? I don't even feel like it works.
It does not work.
I feel like you're still relatively incarcerated if you're on parole. You know? I don't think I use the word parole as a synonym for freedom.
It doesn't just
doesn't
roll off the tongue well, you know?
No.
Oh.
Well, there's a public execution as Keen is going to look for casting here. He does find the ultimate. Canyon going to show up and just needs to hit him a couple of times. And there it is. Cataclysm into auto. Down goes the Scion, and there is first blood. As there's a great knock up from Namgung. Does actually get the flash out of Ruler this time.
Yeah, Teddy
leaves Satchels on cooldown.
The trap there, by the way.
Damn.
He was committed. So Ruler did not want to mess around with that and risk getting caught up.
All right.
Good amount of pressure from this 2v2 of Teddy and Namgun, finding angles to punish. Okay, this was just a bit, because Keen went very aggressive, and it starts well, but he still actually takes the decimating smash damage there because the buff is so long on the ult. But he just backs away and says, you know what, Canyon, you take it. And it's that easy.
Yeah, he just did it. Just cataclysmed him. Down he will go. So Gen.G at about a 600 gold lead at the minute. And I'm trying to work out, like, is this bro composition a scaling comp? It does have Caitlyn, like you get to 6 items on Caitlyn, and you're hitting from 1,000,000 miles away, and I don't think anyone's doing consistent DPS like the Caitlyn is in this game. The Scion, very, very strong in the late game, being that big old beefy frontline. There's also a Ziggs and an Ambessa and a Mel. Like, you don't want to give them more time.
My concern with it is the limited number of damage threats. And we've seen Caitlyn's, we've seen Auroras put out tons of damage, but when they're ahead of the curve, when they're fed, and if you're dealing with all this threat from Gen.G, as you said before, if Tahm Kench gobbles Caitlyn, then Caitlyn will be safe, but won't be doing damage. And that's just so much of your DPS missing. And there's a lot of things Teddy has to worry about, so I just don't think it's that clear-cut.
Yeah. I'm going to be taking a little bit of damage here from Ruler, but he is now on, I am sitting underneath my turret duty, at least until Duro makes his way back. Just going to be farming with the bouncing bombs. And bro, stacking the Drakes yet again. And guess what? Today, 0 Chemtech Soul Day.
So far.
Yeah, no, it's not happening. Unless, oh right, unless we go to game 3.
Yeah.
Until we go to game 3. I apologize. I can't believe on the list that we had before we didn't have Uncloak the Croak, which someone in chat mentioned. That one's a good one too. All right, Mega Inferno, I'm going to tidy up the wave, and Ruler is just going to immediately die. There is the Devour on to the Pantheon, and Namgung eats the Grey Health, and he is going to be absolutely fine. Canning going to trade it for some grubs here, but that is a great little dive on to the Ziggs.
Pantheon already one of the strongest champions for diving, but Pantheon plus Tahm Kench is just so hard to deal with. The fact that he can ult to drop aggro, and he has the Grey Health himself, very hard to avoid getting jumped on when they want to take you out.
At least Ruler does have teleport, so he can get back into this lane relatively comfortably. Teddy makes his way back down again as well, and does have a pickaxe and a longsword. Casting, holding onto this wave, just doesn't really want to interact with Keen.
I think here, so Ruler satcheled the wave and then didn't have it to keep himself safe. And you can interrupt the Pantheon stun pretty reliably with a satchel if you just put it on yourself and wait for him to jump up to you. I think that is the way you could have played that better. And maybe had a chance to survive, but satcheling the wave to try and mess up the aggro, I think was just the wrong move in that situation. But it's a good dive from Hanjin Brion.
Yep.
Making use of that Pantheon ult.
You were mentioning we got to get things snowballing. You know, things have got to get a rolling if we ever want to get a Chemtech Soul today. You know, the bro's going to have to knuckle down and figure this one out. Canyon moving into the enemy jungle here. And that next 3 minutes time, so trying to work out exactly what the next target is going to be as Ruler does get some time with this turret finally. Now Canyon rotating over. They do manage to get a great dredge line on to the Caitlyn. Duro not as good at tanking up the turret, but is able to flash himself out of the way. And Namgung just a bit of a voyeur in that moment.
Yeah, ult's only just coming up now, so he didn't have anything to save him. But Teddy didn't use barrier, they didn't use heal. They really didn't put those resources into place to try and keep him alive for any longer.
Oh, Roma looking for an angle onto Chovy here, who does throw some abilities back. Flashes out of the way. The Between Worlds doesn't want anything to do with that.
Roma been doing a good job of applying pressure with that ult. Oh, no.
Okay. No rebuttal available, but also not really too much of anything else happening here either, although does get the knock up, and Gideon is able to finish that kill. Keen looking for an angle towards Namgung here, who does use his flash in order to get out of the way. And Keen still looking for it here, but won't be able to get on top of the Frog. And he gets himself out. Teddy clears up the wave. And that's the bros evening out the kill score and really putting a little bit of work into bringing that gold lead back.
So in this play, no gobble available. Duro ends up taking the aggro, and they just don't commit the barrier, the heal. And then here, honestly, Ruler should have blocked that tongue lash. That was kind of messed up that he made Duro tank that, and then Duro had to flash as a result. But either way, clean dive from Gen.G. This play, though, at the same time, basically, both top laners ditch lane to try and make ganks happen, and casting is always more successful. Chovy uses the wall to block the actual impact of the ult, but still gets caught afterward, and does get taken down. We do see Ruler getting some plate damage here now, though.
Pretty nice. I actually think that it was Keen that was able to make the most use of like the mid-game Scion roams more recently. I think that's why the Scion was at such a high win rate. Because Keen often got his hands on it, was able to get things like that done. Casting doing exactly the same thing here, and it looking pretty good as well. And so we'll see whether they can use that to get some leverage further on. 50 seconds left on the Chemtech Drake as Gideon does claim his Raptors. Very nicely done there. Didn't get any of Gideon's grubs, so you can see he's pretty upset about that one.
Understandable.
Make sure he doesn't lose anything else. Casting a little bit late on the quest, but does have it now. It's that level 11.
Yeah, Duro's actually a decent amount behind on his quest. It's kind of important for Nautilus, because you go the Celestial Opposition, which can just keep you actually survivable when they engage on you. I think for Gen.G, you have a lot of poke pressure with your composition, get them a little bit low, and then set up for the fight. Hanjin Brion, do you want to go for that more front to back? And kind of just focus first target they see, use the CC combined with traps. Right now, with the Dragon spawning up soon, expecting both teams to make a move towards this.
Exactly where they're going. You've got an Aurora in the top lane without teleport, but Chovy was just there as well. He's looking for a back angle. As Canyon and Keen getting to work on this one. The Scion, no teleport either, but does have the ulti in order to make his way in. Let's see whether he does pull the trigger on that one to get here in time. The question is, the problem is, there is no in time. The Dragon's just gone.
Oh, Infernal Soul.
Oh, big deal.
Infernal Soul with Ziggs is crazy.
Not to mention Ziggs, Mel, Ambessa. That's a lot of damage. As they are aware of it, they want to try and kill said Ziggs. Let's see whether he can get a satchel down in time. Actually gets a lot of AoE as well and uses it aggressively. Never mind. That wasn't the satchel. That was just a minefield. They do get the Nautilus, though, and that's what they were looking for. And the bros going to take a kill lead in this game.
Yeah, I mean, I was just saying how he doesn't have the Celestial Opposition. Makes him a really easy target to go for. And Hanjin Brion focus him down. They know the Ziggs.
Oh, wow. That's a lot of turret shots taken by Keen. And he even tags him with the last portion of the Q. Keen will get the shield back. Let's see whether he can do the Ambessa thing where you just dash a million miles. Takes the damage
from the minion, the minion!
And, not quite able to get there. Wasn't able to roar of the Slayer, that minion, over to kill an Ambessa.
I thought we were going to hear the bowling noise.
But also Casting held onto his flash, so really good good play there. And the teleport to bring Keen back.
Yeah, big mistake from Keen.
Does have to flash.
Does result in him burning Flash and TP. And Casting's going to have that advantage in a little bit. That being said, with Herald going down, they're not really going to have a way to leverage that advantage.
Yep, that is going to be the Herald just secured by Canyon. And Gen.G have had an eye for the neutral objectives a little bit more than they had in game number 1 this time around.
They do have an eye. It's actually Canyon is holding it.
Oh, right. Yes, sorry. I believe they also got that one in game number 1 as well. So I apologize. Same amount of eye.
They went for the top side objectives in game 1.
Yeah.
And Hanjin Brion went for the dragons.
And then missed one because it was on a 4th step of the stepladder and they fell off.
Yeah.
And that's it. That's the recap. And now they have a frog.
So you see Keen took a ton of tower hits and has decided he will continue to do so.
Yeah. Yeah, he's still 1,000 gold ahead. He's, in fact, all of the gold lead. It's sort of Roma being able to have a bit of an advantage over Chovy for now. And Canyon a little bit ahead of Gideon. But otherwise, it is a big lead for Keen. Oh, Roma may not have as much of an advantage if he does die here, but he doesn't.
He has a lot of tools to get away. Very hard to pin down the Aurora as a Jarvan. But also, for Hanjin Brion, very hard to really push this wave in too heavily against the Ziggs.
We're broing and brewing right now, though. Does feel like things have slowed down a little bit for the moment.
Yeah, it feels like we're in a little bit of a deadlock. Hard to provide
if it were.
Too much pressure right now. Dragon up in 2 minutes, though, is definitely somewhere we will see teams look to do a bit more. But for now, the Herald going to come down.
Feels early, as they could have used it for the Drake fight as they engage onto a Pantheon. Not exactly the best move, as they do get the depth charge out. It goes onto the Tahm Kench and through the Pantheon, as they will be able to get the charge this time on the Rift Herald. Still not able to do that much. And that does cost them a fair bit of health bars. Now Casting, charging up this Q could be a little dangerous as Keen comes on over with that shield. And Canyon wants to try and get some sort of a little bit of a gank attempt here as now Ruler, that satchel value just gigantic. And Duro does manage to land the dredge line. However, Namgung is able to keep his teammates safe, but now doesn't have that devour. There's a great flag and drag onto Gideon. Another dredge line is going to connect, and Roma so close to dead, but Casting is going to show up. It's just Gen.G are walking circles around the pros right now, and Chovy picks up a double, and that gold advantage just ballooned.
Some great Ziggs play from Ruler in this situation, disengaging from the fight and able to contribute from a distance. Gen.G answer Bro's aggression and will be rewarded with his mid lane tower.
And Ruler not even using the satchel. He saw that he had a low health bar and was like, we'll take the extra time.
Look, satchels away from Aurora and from the Tahm Kench, and Chovy puts the root into both of them in return, able to disengage. And he also holds the ult for such a long time, waits for his moment, and then when he sees these 3 targets clumped up, gets a ton of extra damage down onto them. And the fact that he was able to hold his flash throughout this entire situation, because he was just using his satchel well. Only throws that satchel at the end when he knows there's no more threat to him. Some good play on the Ziggs, and Chovy just consistently landing those roots through that fight, set up the damage.
He might be able to get a 5 out of 5 stars for Orcs' Ziggs assessment at the end of this one. We'll just have to keep our eye on it. Because so far, I feel like there are 2 things that you mainly have to do well on the Ziggs to reach the approval of Orcs, and that is satchel usage and build the right items.
Yeah, I mean, obviously there's other stuff to Ziggs, but I feel like a lot of our pros are pretty good at throwing abilities like your Q and your ult out.
Yeah.
But Ruler was doing a great job there.
Certainly nailing it. Tongue Lash. Oh man, where's Chovy? I haven't seen the Tongue Lash thing yet. We saw a little picture of it. I think someone put it on the prompter before, but I didn't really understand. That's all right. We got teleports coming in from both top laners. The Scion going to join the rest of his teammates as Duro a little bit out of sync as Keen not going to quite find the ulti angle as Roma gets turned on. Depth charge comes down. There's the Devour to make sure that he's going to be okay, but Duro is already dead. Chovy finds them all, though, with that snare, and there is the overwhelming damage coming out from the ultimate. He'll land another E, and Roma is likely to just die. Casting getting some work done here as Ruler is just a little Ziggs trying to deal with this gigantic zombie man. But I think that he might be all right, tagged by a Q, but is otherwise able to enlist the help of his friends in order to stay alive. And so the first Infernal should go over to Gen.G if they would like it.
This is just the carries of Gen.G kind of dunking on Hanjin Brion. start off looking at Ruler, and Roma tries to find the engage on him, and this satchel splits them apart, gets him over the wall, and he's just completely separated from the fight. So when this engage from Canyon comes in, Chovy and Ruler both combo their damage, absolutely shred them. Chovy follows up with the ult, and the biggest threat at this point to Ruler was actually the dragon that was hitting him.
Well, Gideon taking a lot of damage here, but Chovy's in melee range with a Pantheon. He seems to not care about it, though, as he will be able to kill him with the help of Keen, of course. 6, 1, and 3 now on the Mel.
He is rather fed.
He has, it just sort of happened out of nowhere as well. I feel like it was just a second ago I was like, well, Roma has a 400 gold lead. Now Chovy has a Magi's and a 2,500 gold lead.
And I love how, when we talk about Chovy whispering into people's ears, saying you need to buy a rocket belt.
Ruler maybe should have listened. Because then he could have maybe used it to help him get out of the way of that one. That satchel wasn't great. That's 5 stars probably gone. Yeah,
not the best satchel there. I was going to say, you would think the person closest to him would hear the whisperings most of all, but Ruler has gone for the Shadow Flame this game.
Yeah, I kind of like it, you know?
It's a lot of damage. Admittedly, in that situation, did end up going down despite using the flash and the satchel, but as you said, not the best satchel usage. Here, more than he bargained for.
Yeah, they just wanted to go home.
Well, this does take them closer to that goal.
Yeah.
So here, Ruler playing very far up, has vision on the bot side to play toward. And here, flashes, but then the satchel, he kind of just goes up in the air.
Yeah, it wasn't great satchel positioning, unfortunately. But still, it's a 7,000 gold lead. Like, why is it a 7,000 gold lead? It's 22 minutes into the game. I feel like it's too early for a 7,000 gold lead. But there it is. Chovy is a lot of that, as we mentioned before, but Canyon has also put a very large amount of money together, as Boots 2, as well as BF
yeah, he's
Sword.
40 CS up on Gideon, by the way.
Yeah, and look, it's not surprising. Canyon is very good at hitting camps, but he's done so whilst also being 4-1 and 6 in a game with 11 kills for his team. So he has been involved, but also involved in killing all of the camps all the time.
Yeah. And at this point, it's so hard for Hanj and Brion to kind of just walk up and contest. There's so much damage that comes out in return. And it's a lot of mixed damage, a lot of physical, a lot of magic.
Oh, they're going to throw everything at Ruler. This time the satchel is a little better as Roma goes between the worlds. Duro's going to show up, lands the max range dredge line into the depth charge. And Roma takes a lot of damage from that Mega Inferno Bomb. Keen, that was so close, but the snipe from Ruler will be able to pick up the kill. Still, Canyon's going to go down. Duro wanting a little bit more, but I don't know whether he can really find it as Gideon going a little bit too deep for that one, and Ruler is going to be able to get some revenge as Chovy snares all 3 of them. Oh man, I thought it wasn't going to be a Chovy POM today, but I guess maybe it is. As he manages to get a lot of damage down onto Namgung as well, and another dredge line from Duro. Casting just trying to get out of there, as the bouncing bomb also doing a fair bit, and catches him out of the air. Never mind, give it to Duro. It's just gone one after the other here, as Ruler sidesteps the tongue lash. And the Bros, they may have their base broken off the back of that.
I think maybe a bit too low to push up more, but another blow to the morale of the Bros. And so this is kind of what I was talking about earlier with the satchel into Pantheon. So Ruler gets engaged on here, throws the satchel down, and actually interrupts the stun. So Gideon doesn't get the stun onto him, allows him to walk off. Duro comes in with a peel, and he can turn the damage around. And this bouncing bomb is devious because it bounces into the terrain. So Roma doesn't see it and just goes down.
That was ridiculous, actually.
Yeah, that was crazy. And then Chovy ends up on this flank angle, and Hanj and Brion just don't have great places to go to. Comes in with a flash over the wall. Teddy does sidestep it, so fair play to him, but Chovy just kind of styling on them right now.
Yeah, King going to chase out Teddy here. That means that there is 0 damage for the assist. In the meantime, we are going to head back towards the top side of the map. 9.2 thousand gold is the advantage now for Gen.G. And Canyon just wanting to stop Casting from playing the game. Casting's like, I'm already not playing the game, buddy. It's fine. And Gen.G now just setting up around this Baron. Bounties up and available for the Bros. They can make something happen. It is feeling pretty dire right now as Chovy. That's a very nice hat. 12 stacks on his Magi's as well. Surprisingly not able to get more than that off that last fight. Just a few assists as 3,000 gold is his individual lead. Not bad. And Soul Point available here for Gen.G. Not massively relevant. I just feel like
No.
getting a Baron and winning the game is probably on their minds for now.
They'll probably take it, but as you said, not the most relevant factor. Roma should be able to get away.
Let's see. Yeah, he will.
Also, the Serpent's Fang from Keen. It's pretty tremendous value into both the Scion and the Tahm Kench. But
I respect it.
Laning in the Scion. We've seen a lot of, often the adjacent to Scion will take the Serpent's Fang.
Yep.
I don't think we've seen it from the Ambessa yet, that I remember. Maybe we have. But either way, gets a lot of value against those massive shields.
Yeah, not to mention the Scion coming in with his own shield and the teleport shield at the same time. Oftentimes you see teams using that in order to make sure that he's as beefy as possible at the start of a fight. It will be difficult to make some value happen out of that when Keen is around.
Casting seem to be looking for a Ruler, but won't be able to find him. Ruler now with the Void Staff has a good amount of damage.
Well, the engage onto Casting actually is Casting is completely separated from his team, put into the Cataclysm, and he's just dead. No frontlining for the Scion because he was beyond the frontline. In fact, he was almost at the enemy territory, and unfortunately is going to go down as a result. Now the Drake will be claimed here by Gen.G.
Yep, absolute freebie. Casting was trying to find an angle, but the Cataclysm really shut him down. Canyon waited for him to flash and then just put him in a cage, and he just headbutt it immediately.
Yeah. That's the thing, you hear the gung, and then you're like, well, I guess I Cataclysm him, and he's never having a good time ever again.
Yeah.
Dragon going to be taken here. That is that Soul Point we were talking about. Chovy tidies up the way very comfortably. Yeah.
It's pretty major, pretty large. And we get to see the individual gold advantages as if to just point out how everyone is ahead.
You know what's fantastic? It said Chemtech Drake when the Infernal was taken. Just to give you a little bit of familiarity there, Orcs. There's the knock-up onto Gideon. Roma is just going to explode. Chovy makes sure that he dies. Dash Cannon's out of the way to make sure that he gets a double kill. As a result, Gideon is going to fall as well. That is the jungler being dead, and their teammate that does the most damage also on the floor. So the Gen.G will take a free Baron off the back of that.
Not much you can do to contest this one. He ain't even going to block them from pushing up to this mid tower, or at least try to.
Well,
Teddy, that is a very strong
will definitely do that. The public execution does miss. But Dura's making his way over. Keen just dashes over everything ever, and Teddy flashes, but he is still going to need to be devoured by the Tahm Kench, and I don't even know whether that is going to be enough. I mean, there's a Serpent's Fang, and now there's Ruler coming on over with about 200 health and a Dream, and the ability to pick up a triple kill here. That is not going to happen because Keen will pick up the ace for Gen.G.
Yeah, I love how Hanj and Brion were like, okay, they get Baron, not much we can do. At least we can get mid tower. Not even that. Keen sets up the play to shut them down, and the rest of the team come in. See this play on the top side. As this is happening, there's already a TP from Keen. They're moving over quickly, and Chovy just ends up surviving for way too long, and the damage turnaround on the Aurora is insane.
And Canyon is down to his GA in live. I don't know what's going on there, but he does just flag and drag away. And this was Teddy.
That point where he's just too tanky.
Yeah.
And he's kind of just sliding around the fight, and he's rarely really taking any damage.
And it's the shields and the healing that you get. It's just feels very unfair.
Yeah. Well, at least the healing he gets, you have to do some special mechanic to get it. It's not like he just passively gets it from leveling his ult, right?
Yeah, no, surely, no. It's like that. No. You have to do. Yeah, it's not just like Omnivamp or something. No.
Guys, I'm level 16 now. I heal a ton for some reason.
Oh, there's the ace in the whole value. Oh, baby. Teddy makes sure that Gideon takes it, who is just sitting in the fountain. He is going to press his R button. They're looking to get on top of Chovy, who flashes to get out of the way. Dash cannons to avoid the rest of the damage. And they threw their Hail Mary, and Chovy said no. He just held up his hand, and then Morpheus said, I think he's the one. Or he's beginning to believe, or something like that, as the bros are licking their wounds. But Teddy, the last one able to do damage, and he just gets cataclysmed on by Canyon. My God, that was one heck of an alley-oop, as it's Chovy that locks down the ace in the end. Sub 30 minutes, and Gen.G will complete the 2-0 over the bros and keep their second place dreams alive. I think Ruler had some great moments. Chovy's Chovy, just incinerates you.
That Panta?
Did we say Penta? Is that what just happened, Ruler? Is that what you're saying right now?
This is probably earlier than they've ever said Penta.
Yeah, I was gonna say. Let's get a Penta. Someone dive the fountain so I can get a Penta with one ultimate.
나 가요. 야 이거 위에 타워부터 하자. 이거 캐트 좀 세다.
It's like, let's go take down the turrets.
봐줄래?
That final
Wow.
dunk.
Oh, yeah, from
That was
Canyon.
완벽한 거
Yeah.
봤어?
The flag drag through the Tom Kench gets the
know
knock up
what?
and then straight on top of Teddy.
That was the Harlem Globetrotters moment.
That was it.
Yeah.
That was doing a
That's it.
flip dunk.
Thank
You
you.
know, that was like NBA Jam on the Super Nintendo where you got to do flips from half court and do the dunks that way. It was very realistic. Loved that game.
Hey, look,
That's a
Rula-
lot of Ziggs damage.
Rula built the damage items, did a lot of damage. Even Chovy, who's pumping damage out, couldn't match him. And even Keen, who is hitting a Scion for most of the game, couldn't match him. It's great to see. Clean gold graph as well.
Yeah, looking pretty nice here for Gen.G. And this is the best they could do. They're not going to be playing again for the regular season. And we'll see whether that's going to be good enough for them to make second place. Chovy going to pick up player of the match here. His rise was fantastic in game number 1. But I imagine it will be a little bit more of a split vote. But man, I think that he's now created a 300-point gap between himself and I think Zeka in second place right now.
It's a healthy margin.
Yeah, there it is.
It's crazy that he has more than double of the people in fourth.
Yeah, it's kind of absurd.
Yeah.
And far more than anybody else on his team, as he just tends to, by default, pick it up because he's Chovy. And they've also, especially this round robin, been winning a whole lot.
Yeah, they've picked